Hello everyone, and welcome once again to Turkish Spotlight Secrets, the place where we look beyond the headlines, behind the smiles, and into the stories that actually touch people. Today's story may not have dramatic scandals or shocking betrayals, but it has something more powerful: truth. Because when someone speaks from the heart, even years later, we all stop and listen. Our focus today is on the remarkable Elçin Sengu, an actress whose elegance, depth, and subtle strength have long captured the attention of fans. She's been known for her work ethic, her discretion, and her refusal to turn her private life into public spectacle. And that's what made her recent words so powerful, because they came from a place of quiet honesty. And, of course, Baris is part of this story too. Because some connections, even when left unnamed, never truly fade. Let's go back to when it all began. The series Keralic Ask wasn't just a hit. It was a phenomenon. Not just because of its writing, or its pacing, or even its humor, but because of what happened every time Baris and Elsen shared the screen. They didn't act their scenes. They lived them. Their glances, pauses, tension, and softness created something rare, something that wasn't just believable, but felt. Audiences connected to their characters deeply, and many believed that something had to be real beneath the surface. At the time, neither actor confirmed or denied anything. They were always professional, always poised. And as time passed, their lives moved on. Other projects came. Personal milestones happened. But for many fans, that unspoken energy remained frozen in memory, unforgettable. Then came Elsen's quiet confession. In a recent press roundtable, when asked casually how she was doing, Elsen replied with something no one expected. She said, "I'm tired. I've worked so much, I sometimes feel like I've lost touch with my personal self. I'm proud of my work, but emotionally, I've been in a quiet place." It wasn't dramatic. It was raw. Then the conversation shifted to the topic of working with co-stars. Names were mentioned. She gave polite answers. But when Baris came up, she stopped for a moment. And then she spoke. "That was a very meaningful time in my life. Not just for my career. I was learning a lot about myself. About what I feel. About what I hold in. I'm grateful for it." A journalist, noticing her tone, asked gently, "Was there something deeper?" And Elsen, to everyone's surprise, didn't say no. Instead, she said, "Sometimes, we don't know how deep something is until years later. During that time, I had feelings. Quiet ones. Strong ones. But it wasn't something I acted on. It wasn't meant to be more. But yes, it existed." The room fell silent. It was the kind of moment no one expected, especially from someone like Elsen. A woman who has built her entire public identity around not speaking about her personal life. She didn't call it love. But she didn't call it nothing. And that's the part that resonated most. In a world of exaggerated statements, constant drama, and social media performances, here was a woman quietly acknowledging an unspoken truth. That sometimes, yes, we feel deeply, and we never say a word. And suddenly, everything people had seen on screen years ago, the way her eyes softened around Baris, the little hesitations, the emotional tension, began to make sense. She wasn't acting every moment. Some part of her was feeling. And while Baris may never have known, or maybe he did and chose to protect her silence, what mattered is that it was real, to her. Now let's talk about Baris' side. In a separate interview just weeks before, he was asked about past co-stars. When Elsen's name came up, he smiled warmly. He said, "She's one of the best scene partners I've ever had. There was an ease, a rhythm. She doesn't just listen to you in scenes, she hears you." At the time, it felt like respectful admiration. But now, in the context of her confession, those words feel heavier. More meaningful. As if he sensed something, and simply let it be. Could there have been more? Maybe. Maybe not. But perhaps the most powerful part of this story is that it didn't have to be anything more to matter deeply. Platonic love, real, strong, unspoken, exists. It shapes people. And Elsen's ability to admit that, years later, without bitterness, without regret, is what makes this story so beautiful. She didn't say it to get attention. She didn't frame it as a missed opportunity or a tragedy. She framed it as growth. I don't regret feeling it. I don't regret hiding it. Some things are meant to stay in the heart. And that, perhaps, is the real message here. We live in a world where people are constantly told to speak out, to define every emotion, to turn every feeling into a tweet, a caption, a headline. But Elsen did the opposite. She loved, quietly. She remembered, privately. And she moved on, gracefully. So what now? Will she and Baris ever speak more openly about their dynamic? Possibly not. Will they work together again? Fans certainly hope so. But the truth is, they've already given us a story, a real one, that doesn't need a script. It doesn't need to end in romance. It doesn't need to be resolved. It just needs to be acknowledged, as something that shaped them, and, through them, shaped us too. So here's to the feelings we never said. To the people we never told. To the moments that passed without explanation, but left echoes. Thank you for being here today and listening to a story that's more than celebrity news. If you've ever felt something and kept it close, if you've ever looked back on a chapter that no one else understood but you, this story is yours too. Please subscribe for more thoughtful stories like this. Like this video, and leave a comment below if Elsen's words reminded you of something you once felt. Until next time, stay soft, stay honest, and remember, some of the deepest loves are the ones that never needed to be spoken aloud. Take care, and goodbye for now.